Hello foliage family, my name is Romani, the mother of leafy boys, and today we have a lot to get done. The fact. Anyway, we move on. Mealybugs, problematic. Ants, problematic. Spider mites, very problematic. The ants can get in the bin. No.
Arnor, Clear.
We'll find out together. I'll let you know. Caught it. It's just damage. It will be fine. You'll be fine. I think as long as it's nearby, it will work, right? I have a new worst enemy, and it's ants. So there are quite a few things that I want to try and get done in today's video. I think it is going to be best if I split it over 2 videos. So today's video is going to go over every single room, almost like a little mini tour, but more of like a plant update in each room. I'm going to be writing down on my list every single chore that I need to get done. I think it's just going to help me to sort out and prioritize what needs to get done first and what maybe can wait for a little bit longer. But I also need to try and look for every plant that has pests because I have some beneficial bugs that I'm going to be releasing. So it is also going to be some plant tips on how I take care of bugs and pests and general issues and concerns that I have in my collection. And then part 2 will probably be where I actually get to do the plant chores, do the moss poles, the repotting, and all those little other bits and pieces that I need to get done, which I have a very big suspicion will take a long time, hence splitting it into the 2 videos. So if you have a lot that you need to get done and you need a little bit of motivation, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a bag of soil, and let's get through some of this together. Okay, so we are starting in my spare room, in which is very, very hot. I had hoped that the aircon in the other room had cooled this room down, but unfortunately not. I think it is a really hot day today. I think I spied that they said it was going to get to 33 degrees Celsius. So general consensus on this room is there is a couple of things that need to get done. I do want to say for one, maybe if I tilt it up a little bit, you'll be able to see it. My beautiful fern. So this was one that I repotted in a recent video. I had my really, really big fern, the one that took up the whole room. I repotted it, up-potted it, and now it's downstairs, which it's growing really well down there as well. I checked on it literally yesterday. It looks fantastic. It's growing new fronds. It's very happy in its new location and really didn't show any signs of stress at all, which I'm super pleased with. And this is a baby from that one, and I repotted it because it was too big. It came out to like here and like here, so it was just too big. It was like the size of me, essentially, and it had gotten so big that you couldn't really use this room. You couldn't see the mirrors anymore. That poor anthurium underneath it was like all like squished because yeah, you just couldn't see the sun anymore, but I think it's a lot happier now. And this one has new fronds as well. Like it has, there's like little things up there. These are new fronds. So it's obviously happy and growing. So success in my book. As for everything else, I think I might have to pick you up and actually bring you with me and just sort of talk through what needs to get done in this room while I write them down. So let's go have a little look. So starting over in this corner, this plant has finally started to completely acclimate. There was a little while where I was getting yellow leaves. You can see a lot of bareness at the bottom where it lost some leaves because it was not used to the lack of light it's getting here, but also it wasn't used to the lowered humidity it was getting here. It's a very humid room, so I knew it would acclimate to the humidity eventually. This was its issues that it was showing. If you can see the curled, how they were coming in sort of like half the size and weirdly curled at the bottom. I knew that was a sign of it saying, this isn't the humidity I'm used to, but The newest leaves don't have that. So it has acclimated to the new humidity for the most part. The yellowing was more to do with the amount of light it was getting. I was using this. Oh, I just almost ran into my tripod. Very sorry. But this here is the Thrive Light from the Leafy brand. And that's what I was using every now and then. I didn't want it to get used to more bright light. I'll switch it on for you. There's like a little controller down here. I didn't want it to get used to this level of light because I don't like using grow lights all the time, but I wanted to supplement it on days that were cloudy, just to sort of help it with that transition and slowly get it to adapt to a life without this amount of light. And I think it's going well. I might use this light for a little bit longer on it. So I've been using it like once or twice a week. I was turning it on for like 6 hours. And it's worked. It's definitely happier, but I'm going to slowly reduce that amount of light it's getting until it is acclimated to a different set of conditions and doesn't need the light anymore. But it seems to be growing well. And then I'll continue using this light to help with my shelves in the other room, and I'll explain that bit later. We're just not looking super happy because I didn't water it one time, but we're going fine. No more spider mites. This one did have spider mites for a bit. You can see the damage there, but I don't think it has any more, so I think we're good. This one has mealybugs. I don't even need to check it. I just know that it's struggled with mealybugs for a really long time. Sorry, I'm not actually watching where my camera is at the moment. But I know it's been struggling with mealybugs for a while, so it probably still has that same issue. So this one needs treatment. This one's been fine. Those cuttings should be uppotted eventually. I need to add a little bit of moss into this pole because it's outgrowing it. Still got heaps of moss pole left. This is from the Leafy brand. I love their front closures. But it needs a little bit more moss. So that one is on my chores list, and that's super achievable. This one's recently been uppotted, so it looks super happy. There's a little baby down here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little baby down the bottom, but this one's super happy. It's getting more light than it used to before, so of course it's super duper happy. It looks so pretty. Honestly, I forgot that this was like my favorite Terrarium because it was sort of shoved behind other ones. This one had spider mites. This one here, I might put some spider mite stuff near it just in case. This one I feel like it's had spider mites for a while, but doesn't have it currently. I feel no. No. Okay, so this one does not currently, I believe, but I'm still going to treat as if it does, but just not as intensely. This one's had spider mites quite frequently, this little blizzard. So I am going to, do we see any spider mites on it? Oh. Yeah, okay, there's a few. So this one definitely has spider mites currently, so I need to treat this one a little bit more thoroughly. I might rinse this one's leaves later. This one here as well has had spider mites. This one should be fine. This one's had mealybugs, but also I think I just have neglected it a lot. This one had spider mites for a short period of time. And so did this one, but this one now has mealybugs. Weird experience with this one, and I know that this is because I have not up-potted it. I have not extended its moss pole. I've not taken care of it. And as a consequence, when your plants aren't healthy, they are more susceptible to pests. And so I have had more pests on this plant than I've ever had. And it is struggling. I know it looks somewhat happy, but I can promise you it is not. And it is in dire need of an extension, new soil, and a big shower. So this is going to be one on my top priority and one of the first things that I get done tomorrow when it's cooler, because right now it is so hot that I think I will just get frustrated and not do a good job at taking care of it. But this is definitely top on my list. As for these in this corner, nothing of note to do. This is fine. So I'm going to take these two off to the shower now. If I spy a plant that has active spider mites, so some of them I have like suspicions that they have spider mites, but if I have actively found spider mites on the plant, what I'm doing is taking them to the shower to try and knock off whatever spider mites I possibly can before adding the pest treatment, just so that they have a better chance of actually helping. But two, I have probably treated that plant in the past couple of weeks with pest control. Now, I knew I was getting predatory mites, so I have not been using any neem oil for probably over a month. Might be a little bit less than a month. And that's not because I don't love neem oil, but it's because predatory mites don't. And if there is still neem oil on the leaves, it can lead to some of the predatory mites either not sort of like hatching or some of them dying. It's just not great for them. But I have been treating them with isopropyl alcohol and water. So that's a trick that I usually use, is just adding a bit of isopropyl alcohol to a spray bottle of water and spraying and wiping down the leaves, which would kill beneficial mites if I was to spray that on a leaf that had beneficial mites. Don't get me wrong, but it lingers for less time than the neem oil does. So if I wash the leaves, it is kind of way more of a reset for the leaf and less likely to harm the predatory mites once I put them on now, if it was just isopropyl alcohol that I used rather than neem oil. That's just in my experience how it's worked for me. So if I'm taking it to the shower, it's because I know that I've treated it recently or somewhat recently with either neem or isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just trying to make sure I'm giving those little buggies the best chance that they have of surviving on that plant. I will wash some of the other plants as well, just if I think that they are really dirty or have, again, active spider mites that maybe I haven't spied previously, but that is why they are heading to the shower. I will do this space next purely because it is super hot, and this is where the aircon is, which you may or may not be able to hear in my audio recording, so deeply sorry if that is like a low droning noise, but again, it's too hot for me to really not have it on. I think it's time we have a little walk around here, and I will try and point out some more plants that need to be fixed in some way. All right, I have done really nothing in the way of cleaning up, so please ignore that it's a bit messy. But so far we are all good. I have not seen any pests here. I have spied none on this begonia either, even though there was a plant underneath it that had spider mites recently. So I think I may treat it, but I'm not going to go wash it because I don't think that is necessary unless it's dirty. Does it look dirty? No, it looks pretty clean. No, okay. I don't think I'll need to wash that. You, however, awful shower. It has not been doing well. I've never had pests on this before, and again, I think it's because it needs a repot. Look at all the little babies that are down there. There are many, and I think it has overwhelmed the plant. That is a lot of babies to be dealing with. It is taking away energy from the main plant. I know that, one, because I've had spider mites, and two, because the latest leaf is super tiny. Look at that. Super tiny in comparison. So it is giving me all the signs that A, it needs me to take the babies, and B, it needs to be repotted or up-potted. And yeah, I haven't dealt with that. And now I'm in the consequence of that, which is spider mites and just smallness, I guess. So yeah, desperate need of a shower because I have cleaned that literally yesterday because it was covered, like absolutely covered, and you can see how yellow it is. It will be fine. I'm not stressed about it dying or anything like that. I'm just, it's usually such an easy alocasia, and I just sort of have neglected it and not listened when it has tried to tell me it needed help. This one is fine, even though you can see it's got like those little weird patches. I ignore those. Nothing really going on in this corner. It has a new leaf though, which is lovely. I don't know if you can see that. Beautiful new leaf. And this is some Hoya Bella that I have growing in pon, just to see how it would go. I think their answer is it loves pon. Oh, I don't know if I can get this out. There we go, sorry. I don't know if you can quite see that. There is a root right there. And yeah, it just seems to have a lot of new growth points. It seems to be quite happy. So I think pon actually is the way to go with Hoya Bella. So fun new facts. This one's leaning, but has not had any issues other than the fact that it wants to be watered every 3 days. I'm not even exaggerating. It wants to be watered every 3 days. It's quite insane. But they're all fine. My Mycans doesn't seem to have any issues at the moment. Lots of new growth points happening in there, but pretty good. Oh, I moved this one. This Hoya Bella. I moved this one into pon as well. And it's also super happy. So that's great. It's loving its life, and you can see a new root there as well. So yeah, loves it, loves pon, and I'm so glad. It's got a new growth point that it shot out there. There we go, it's focused, got a new growth point that it shot out at the top there. That's a cutting that I popped in with it. And yeah, just seems to be living its best life. So pon for Hoya Bellas, absolutely, I give that a 10 out of 10. My Delta Force, this is its new leaf. There we go. Stunning new leaf, and it needs to be up-potted because I want it to keep getting bigger. It's got enough roots now that I think it is ready for an up pot. Can you see the roots? There you go. It is ready. It is ready for an up pot so that it gets bigger and bigger. That is the goal with this particular Hoya. Oh, I just bumped this leaf and now it's damaged. Whoopsie daisies. It's fine. But yes, getting this one bigger is the goal. Fine. This one's doing whatever. It's got a new leaf. I don't know. I still plan on putting that one outside. My Regal's looking fine. I moved this over here. This is too low of a light for this Terrarium, but yeah, it's fine. And then that one is also fine. None of them have pests. They're just not in the best light. Oh my god, this Gloriosum, it's gone all white. And so I chopped the growth point back, and then it gave me an all white growth point. So no pests. I probably should up pot it. But honestly, at the moment, I'm just sad because it's all white and I know that that means it's going to die. So, because I don't think I can chop it back any more than I did. Maybe I'll try to, but that one definitely needs to be up potted because it is filling out the pot. And yeah, and it's also got the, what's that called? Slime mold growing in it, which means that it's not getting enough like oxygen in there or like circulation, I guess. So I do want to basically change out the soil in its entirety and all that kind of stuff. This plant is going okay. It's It's my variegated anthurium. We're getting a little bit of that dryness of the leaf, but I think that's just because I'm letting it dry out too much in between waterings. I think I have fixed that problem with watering. So I'm just going to do my tried and true, which is to cut off the parts that are not looking great and see if it continues. And if it continues, I've probably done something else wrong. So let's chop those little bits off. I know this is not the intention for these kinds of scissors, but because they have that curve, it actually helps a lot with the leaves, like with cutting the leaves because of the shape. Put that little bit off. So I know that looks silly now, but it's purely to help me track it at the moment, because actually I think for aesthetic purposes it would look better if I left it on, because you can't really tell, but it is for my sake. I need to be able to see if I've done the right thing. My solution has worked. Okay, that's the second bit off. So it's only on the white patches, which could be a light, it's definitely well watered, which could be a light problem. So guess we'll just have to wait and see. I think this is also one that I could probably up pot, and that might stop the issues as well. But overall, it's looking really good. I give it a quick rinse as well, but I want to chop some of the dead bits off this plant as well. So we're just gonna do another little chop. Now this one has, oh, what's that noise? Goody next door is now doing something loud. This one is now having some browning issues due to inconsistent watering and the super hot weather we had. The weather's cooling down, which is great for this particular plant, but it's still just living in like the ramifications of the heat, I guess. Like it still hasn't quite bounced back. I'm sorry if that's really loud, if you can hear the buzzsaw next door. My neighbor crafts a lot, so that's what that noise is. It's like a wood saw. Because he paints these bits of raw wood with Australian animals. And so that's what he's like cutting the bits of wood to paint. They're quite pretty. The end result, the noise isn't quite pretty though. Can I get in there? No. Okay. Get out. I don't know if you can see the leaves flopping off. But yeah, this is meant to be in a terrarium. So the fact that it still grows is kind of a miracle. So I guess I should count my blessings that it's actually alive for me. It used to be super bushy though. Super bushy, super happy. And the only difference is I didn't let it dry out. But we all make mistakes. So now I just have to deal with that. And the consequence is that I just have to keep cutting it back and taking off all these dead leaves. So it should continue to grow and be happy. I mean, you can see all the lighter leaves are bits of new growth. So there's new growth on this part. There's new growth springing up all over the place. Quite a few here as well. So it is growing and it is somewhat happy. I don't know if you would call it happy. It is growing and recovering. So it will be okay. It just needs a bit of time in the cooler weather that we're going to start having. And it will be just fine, I think. All right, there we go. Those were easy. And then I'm just going to go quickly rinse this one, and then we will look at the rest of the plants in my collection. This is one I'm also going to take into the shower and give a rinse because I have had some issues with spider mites with this one as well. This one has been fine. That is my Rio. Absolutely been doing fine. Some people asked me for an update on my terrarium. Hello, that is my reflection. Can I switch my light on? It is so foggy right now because of the weather. I don't know if you're actually going to be able to see into it. Let me try and clear it up so you can actually see. All right, there we go. So it was a little bit foggy because I've got the aircon on. It's quite a hot day, but that is what it is currently looking like after maybe a month or so of growing. You're not going to be able to see them, but the springtails that I put in there have gone absolutely berserk. There's so many of them in there. I've had some fungus gnat issues as well, but I think they're dying off, and that's feeding the springtails. So I don't think that's actually a problem. Every now and then I see little fairies flying about, which is actually fungus gnats, but I'll call them fairies. This little patch here, if you can see it, that browned, and I think that was due to the heat. Same with right in the very back. Very foggy, but a patch here died and a patch right in the back there died. And then this patch started to die but has come back. And I think those two were possibly due to either A, the aircon, or B, not enough light. Like maybe I wasn't turning this light on enough for them, but they don't really need light. Like they prefer actually to have less light. So I'm not 100% sure why they died, but also sometimes moss just shocks. So it might come back, it might not. You don't really see it because it's all the way in the back, so I don't actually think it's a problem. All the moss that you do see is still alive. Oh, sorry. So I think it's okay that back moss died because, again, everything else seems to be going along quite fine. As for these plants, this one, it needs a chop and prop because it has reached the top of the moss pole. So chop and prop on you. This one I think I'm going to take downstairs, and I've got a second one growing, and I probably will swap them because this one's not looking too happy, but the one downstairs is looking happy. There's probably a reason. It's probably got a lot to do with the aircon. This one I'm choosing to ignore, and I'm just going to swap them. Burn, that's from the aircon. I got sick for a week with the aircon blasting on it, so the chopped off bits are all my fault. And I know that because I stopped using the aircon as much, and the browning stopped. So you can see it's not really continued. Even though I've got the aircon on, I had it on continuously for that period of time, and that really messed it up. Same with this one. The condition has now changed. It's not getting aircon blasted at 24/7, and it's gone back to looking happy again. So I know the issue was aircon. Very sorry, plants. Deeply, deeply sorry about the aircon. But this one also needs a chop and extend. So that's one thing I'll be doing later. This one is the opposite, where it was doing this during the heat, and then as soon as I started putting the aircon on and cooled it down, it gave me a happy leaf. So I think this one despises the heat and doesn't mind if the humidity drops from the aircon, it's fine with that, oddly enough, or more fine with it than it is with how hot it got. So this one I know I need to shelter from the heat if we have another big heat wave. Is it dry? No, good. Does not like to dry out either. All right, so time for another little rinse, and then we'll move on into the plant room. This one is not yet needing water, so I'm going to try and only wash the leaves if I can, just the leaves. We'll see how well I do that. All right, this is the last room that we are going to go through and wash the leaves specifically of. I still have the front veranda and the back veranda, which you will see when I go put out some of the beneficial bugs, but every time I water them, they get pretty much cleaned, so they don't really need to go through the cleaning process before I put the bugs on them. I'm just going to take them out and put the bugs on the ones that I know absolutely need it. But this room stresses me out. This room has the most spider mites in the entire house. The two pests that I'm treating for is spider mites and mealybugs. The mealybugs, I found out, are probably being brought in by ants. So maybe it's because I saw the ants with the mealybugs at one point. Like literally I saw an ant carrying a mealybug once, but I thought that the ants were eating the mealybugs. So I was like, oh, let there be ants, absolutely, come deal with my problem. Come to find out that those little traitors are probably the reason I have such bad mealybugs in my collection. I read on the Bugs for Bugs website that ants and mealybugs kind of go hand in hand, and they have a symbiotic relationship, or whatever you want to call it, where they benefit from each other. So the ants don't eat the mealybugs because the ants are there to eat the like sugary sap that the mealybugs make the plant produce. So when like a plant's stressed from the mealybugs, it usually produces like this like sticky sugary substance. And the ants love it. It's like their num-num sugar time treat. So the ants, in return, will protect them from other predators or anything that might get rid of these mealybugs. And in fact, sometimes the ants carry the mealybugs to new locations. Like my collection. So I have a new worst enemy, and it's ants. The ants can get in the bin, absolutely. I'm a little bit mad about that now. After so long of being like, oh, I hate having ants, but you know, maybe they're going to do something good. Like, maybe it's okay. No. We have an issue with there being lots of like nooks and crannies in our house that aren't like sealed properly. So we have a bit of an ant problem, specifically in our pantry. But I've never, ever wanted to eradicate ants from my house more than I do now, because the fact. Anyway, we move on. Mealybugs. Problematic. Ants, problematic. Spider mites, very problematic. Haven't had thrips for a while. So I think we're good on the thrips front, and I'm not treating with any bugs for thrips, but I am treating for spider mites and mealybugs. And yeah, spider mites pretty much everywhere in this room, pretty much everywhere. Do I even need to make a list? Or am I just going to treat every plant in this room as if it has spider mites? Let's look around. Okay, so starting off, Jacqueline, looking fine and has not had spider mites. Knocking on wood, no spider mites. And I've checked it recently. In fact, I check it pretty much religiously at this point, because I don't know how it hasn't gotten spider mites, but we're going to ignore it and just be super happy that it doesn't. So I want to, can I just Just gonna fix that. It's just fallen out of its like little nook there. Odora has been fine, and so has this one. I might still put some spider mite sachets near it just in case, but it should be fine. Fine, has had spider mites. I gave it a rinse yesterday, so I won't give it another rinse. This one has spider mites. This one has spider mites. No, but is too close for comfort. Also no, but is too close for comfort. Probably does. So we'll treat as if it has spider mites and therefore also probably does, I think. Oh, I can't even, can you look? Do you see anything? Because you're closer than I can get. Do we see spider mites? I don't know. I guess only the footage review will tell me, but I don't think so. It seems to be, oh, what's that in the corner? What's that? Is that leaf dying? Does that look bad? I don't know. Who knows? I guess, yeah, we'll just treat it all as done for. That's been fine. Coming down lower, that's been fine. This begonia's been fine. But I think I want to treat this plant as if it has spider mites, and this plant as if it has spider mites. Can we see that one? Yeah, I think I need to treat my string of turtles as if it has spider mites. How are you? No!
Arnor Clear!
It finally has been stricken. It is not for so long. Okay, straight to the shower with you. Come on. Poor thing. I love this plant too. And like, look how pretty that is though. It has such nice variegation. And like the new leaf looks like it's gonna have, can you see that? Looks like it's gonna have some really nice variegation too. Looks like it's gonna be mostly pink. Again, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that, but it looks like it's gonna be mostly pink. It's gonna be so pretty. So that's been the problem recently is, you know, every second day a new plant appears with spider mites. Every time I treat one, the next one has it. Because I haven't been treating with pesticides, because I knew that I wanted to get in some other spider mite treatment, the predatory mites. So I think this one has been fine because I've had the container on it for safety. The new leaf looks quite variegated. So I think that new leaf is going to be pretty variegated. And so far does not look to have spider mites, but I will put a sachet in there for safety. Just because I am terrified of my favorites getting too attacked. The lid is literally to protect from spider mites. I wish I was joking. And yeah, I'm just going to treat all of this section as infected, including my black stem, which did have spider mites, as you can tell by the browning on his leaves there. So yeah, whole section here we treat as if it has spider mites because it mostly does. Again, I washed these yesterday, like these ones here. I've washed these yesterday. I washed these yesterday. So yeah, we're going to treat it all as if it has spider mites. And it's all because of this one. This silly one. This one got spider mites first, and I truly feel like it was the instigator. If you can see all of the damage. Because I didn't see it had spider mites, so it was hidden away, and it is like covered in damage. I don't know if you can see in the corner there. But yeah, This was the instigator for all the problems. This one had a heap of spider mites. And that led to everything else getting spider mites. So I blame this one. This one was pushed out a little bit because I didn't want it touching the plants over here for fear of it also getting spider mites. This was my begonia, Silver Beauty. It lost its recent leaves in the heat, but it does have a new leaf coming, so I'm sure it'll be okay, even though it looks like a stick, the poor thing. I'll treat these because I think I saw spider mites on them a little while ago. I see ants. I see ants on this plant. Stop it. Don't you dare. Don't you dare bring mealybugs into this room. There's ants. Look. Oh my gosh. I hate that. Okay, so ants here. I'm going to probably wipe these leaves a little bit just with water to try and get rid of the ants. And then I'm going to put bugs here, as in like the mealybug protectors here, because that probably means that there's mealybugs somewhere amongst this collection. This one I'm going to treat as if it has mealybugs as well, because it would be a pest if I got any in there. Oh, touching that plant. There we go. So this one I'm going to treat as if it has mealybugs as well. Spider mite prevention here. And spider mite stuff all down the bottom. Because I have seen spider mites previously. Haven't seen them in a bit, but yeah, spider mite prevention for all of the plants down the bottom. This is the other terrarium. The little jewel orchid one. It hasn't had anything dying. It looks good to me. Looks like it's growing and happy. These ones look so much bigger than they were when I put them in. So really super happy with that one. This one unfortunately has hit the roof, so it's not really growing anymore, but you know, still looks happy. That one's established itself. But yeah, I think it looks happy. This one is slowly acclimating to room humidity. When I got it and I repotted it into pon, it shriveled immediately because it was out of its little humidity box that it came with. Like, it came packed in a plastic container, and I think it needed to be in obviously like super high humidity, and I wasn't giving that to it. And it started to shrivel and look like it was going to not make it. So my solution was to put a cup over it, and the cup went all the way down to the base here. But slowly I have moved the stick, and as I'm moving the stake up, it's pushing the lid up. And that's introducing more and more room humidity, which in turn is slowly acclimating it to a world of less humidity than it kind of wants, I guess. So I'm just going to put that lid back on it. But you'll see it's not balancing on the leaves. Ooh, there we go. Sorry. So the cup is actually balancing on the stick, not on the plant. So I'm not stressed about the plant getting all bent and out of shape or anything like that. But as I pull the stick up, it pushes the cup further up, and that introduces more humidity for the plant. So again, as the stick goes up, it gets the cup further and further up, introduces more humidity. I also poke some holes in the top, and eventually it will just have no cup, and it will be able to grow in just my regular room humidity. At least that is the goal eventually. As for the plants at the very top of this shelf, I'm going to treat this one as if it has mealybugs, because it has in the past. I haven't seen it recently, but just in case. And then I think some just general spider mite sachets up there won't go astray for safety. This plant, you can see, is a little yellow. which is unusual. I think that's got a lot to do with some underwatering that has been happening, because it is definitely reached the top of its moss pole, and therefore it is drying out a lot. So this one is on my list for a chop and prop. This one is also, this one here, also on my list for a chop and prop. Again, you can see browning, and that is a lot to do with the fact that it is drying out from its moss pole because it needs a chop and extend. This one also needs a chop and extend. My Florida Beauty has come to the top of its pole. This one almost has as well. This is my Domesticum. So unfortunately, Domesticum also needs a chop and a prop as well. So I think that is all of the chores in here. Oh, no, this moss pole as well. This is my Chia Pence. Ooh, it is variegated, but it is pretty low variegation. This one, it needs a big repot, which I think is why it has also gotten spider mites recently, is because it needs a big chop and repot. That moss pole is quite obviously overgrown. That's all off the pole, and that is where the pole starts, like there. This plant should probably be repotted and get a bit of a refresh, and this needs to be repotted and get a bit of a refresh as well. I think that's everything in this room that needs to get done, so it's time for me to bring in my backup. Right, so I have my bugs with me. I'm just ripping off the label that has my address on it, so give me a moment to rip that off. Right, so if you're wondering where I get my beneficials from, it's a company called Bugs for Bugs, and I've used them for a couple of years now, and it works every time. They aren't super great at like eradicating an issue once you have it, which is why I've been washing and treating them, but they are good at suppressing and helping to minimize the problem, which makes it easier for you to treat plants, because if you just are overwhelmed by them, it's a whole thing, and it's a massive process to clean up and to manage pests when you are just completely overwhelmed by them. So while on their own, I don't think they can completely and utterly get rid of every pest that you have. They do a really good job at helping and minimizing and helping to prevent more from coming. So that's why I use them. Now, the first thing I want to deal with is the mealy bugs, because these are the lace wing eggs. Now, I usually get the lady beetles, but unfortunately, the lady beetles were out of stock, and even the lady beetle larvae, the babies, they were also out of stock. So I don't know if it's the heat or the weather that we've been having recently that has made that population deplete at the moment. I have a heap of lady beetles outside. I think I've bred them by buying lady beetles from Bugs for Bugs so often, and I always put a couple outside on my mango tree. And now we have a lot of lady beetles outside, so that seems to be going well. Our mango tree no longer has mealybugs, which is lovely, but they didn't have any, so lacewing it is. I'm nervous, I've never tried them before, but I've only got eggs, so I'm not quite sure how to actually distribute those. I'll look at them in a second. I've got the sachets. Those are a matter of just walking around and plopping them in locations. The sachets are slow release. There's not a heap. I think they said 2,000 approximately in every bag, but they release slowly over weeks, I think 6 weeks. So they're like a good slow suppressant. And then this is the Californicus predatory mites. These are both spider mites. These are adults, not eggs, so these will instantly release and hopefully really help to eradicate the problem quickly. Whether these are going to be just to be scattered around the collection as a suppressant. My hair was falling out, so I've just taken it out entirely. But the aircon is intentional. They don't like a lot of heat. I'm doing this later in the afternoon, so I am sort of playing against the light for filming right now, but they also don't like too much sun or direct sunlight. So on releasing them, I want them to have the best opportunity to live. So aircon, late afternoon it is. Now these are just eggs, so they haven't released yet. Haven't hatched. It's lucerne. It's lucerne. Like hay. And I know that it's lucerne hay because I grew up around fields of lucerne hay being grown. But I don't know what the eggs are meant to look like. I thought I was going to be able to put them out individually. Oh, some of them have hatched. Oh, okay. They're so small. I don't know if you're going to be able to see any of them moving. But I'm going to hold it as still as I can. Some of them have hatched and are slowly moving. It is really easy to disperse the lady beetles because you can see them and they're quite big. And it's really easy to remove the larvae as well from the lady beetles because they're quite big and easy to see. And usually they attach themselves to these strings. So what I do is I pick up the strings and I put each individual string in pots and in locations, but they're not clinging to the strings at all. They're all amongst the lucerne. So I think I'm going to have to put them in boxes. Like I've got these predatory mite release boxes. So I might hold off on these. And I'll put them underneath the aircon so that they're not too hot while we wait. I'm not even gonna fully close up the lid because apparently they can get around a lot more, like fly. Ooh, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out together. I'll let you know. Give you an update maybe on Instagram or something like that. And we're just gonna start off with the sachets. There's just one or two spots that I might put some sachets. Go get a box for this one and for this one as well. These are some of the boxes. They're pretty easy to assemble. They're literally just so you can put the pests somewhere. Because I think that one's like a lucerne hay and the other one's like a vermiculite or a sawdust of some kind. How does this work? I haven't done it in a bit. Oh, there we go. Perfect. know a lot of people get like really icked out about the thought of like predatory mites and having them in your house, but I have a lot of bugs in my house, whether I choose to want them or not. So might as well put some in there that are beneficial to my collection rather than just all of the ones that I don't want to be there. And yeah, I mean, there's bugs living on your face, apparently, so you can't avoid them, guys. Bugs are everywhere, and they're a good thing. Bugs are great for the environment. I think hating on bugs is a part of our environmental problems right now. So don't hate the humble bug. They're doing a lot for the world. I think we'll leave these. I think that's enough boxes for now because there's also some already scattered in my collection that I can use. So let's continue. I think sachets are done in here. I might chuck a couple on the veranda of the sachets and then we will move into the spare room and the other rooms. Let's go. All right. I'm going to put a sachet here. Because these caladiums have been getting spider mites recently. So some there. Don't think they need any. Those have been fine. Maybe just one here, just in case, for this particular plant. But yeah, it was mainly for these guys. That poor yellow leaf. This one needs water. Just taking that off. That needs a bit of water. Boy leaf. All right, back veranda now. Oh, I think someone's mowing. That's okay. That'd be Patricia, our possum, who tends to leave things in a mess. So, oh gosh. All those little bits, I think I'll just, I don't know, chuck back in there. Gosh. Alright. This one needs some mealybug stuff here. Alright, spider mite treatment for you. A sachet here for safety. For this one. Who else? This one definitely needs some. It has not been good. This one has had some big spider mite issues. So we will put a little sachet back there. This one also definitely needs a sachet, so we'll shove one in there as well. I also need one for this little guy here who's had some spider mite issues in the past, and I think that is it. The floor is so dirty because of the possum leaving a mess, but I think I might keep these 2 or 3. There's some plants in the downstairs area that I'm going to chuck these on as well. So these are just going to sit off to the side. All right, moving on to this space, I'm going to put a little box here. Now it's like a super obvious place for the box, but I want to get it as close to the problem as physically possible. So we're going to put a box on that one. There's already a box up there. I've just chucked a box on this one as well. There's already a box up there. Already a box on that one. I think that's it for boxes. Now I'm just going to chuck some sachets about. I don't like looking at it because the leaves have gotten so dehydrated that they've bowed to the point they've bent the stems, which means that they're never going to fully recover because the stems are bent now. Yeah, it's just really disheartening when you have a favorite plant and because you've just been really time poor and procrastinated, it's kind of like irreparably damaged, which I know sounds so dramatic, but it is damaged to the point where it's not really going to get back to where it was, but it will regrow and the new leaves will look beautiful. It's just caught it. It's just damage. It will be fine. It will be fine. But it needs box because it has mealy bugs. I do love how insane this room looks like from this angle because it looks so full. Yeah, I look a little bit crazy, but it is time to disperse a bunch of these everywhere. So that's why I needed you to be able to see the whole room because I'm going to basically put them in every nook and cranny that I can find. Okay, let's get the rest. I forgot my ladder. I don't suggest this, but I think as long as it's nearby, it will work, right? Probably shouldn't have done that. We're running out of time and I don't want to go get my step ladder. Just gonna try and put a box back here. Sorry, excuse me. Coming through. Okay. And a box for this one over here. Usually everything's not so spread out, but I'm trying to get them to stop touching each other while they have buggies. Okay, there we go. Little box there. Okay. That plant has had a big issue with mealybugs, so I'm sure that will help. Yeah, I don't think anything else had issue with mealybugs out here, as far as I can remember. I think just adding a little bit more in here wouldn't hurt. I know that one had it recently. This poor plant here definitely has some spider mites. It's my variegated sandpaper fig. It is not looking good at the moment. So you have a sachet. This is the happy one that I want to take upstairs because the other one looks really sad. But it also seems really happy here. So maybe I should just try and make the one upstairs better instead of just bringing it downstairs and swapping them out. I don't know. But this one looks really happy. So I know how to take care of it. I think the other one upstairs just did not like the aircon, which it won't have to worry about very soon. So I might just give it a little bit longer upstairs. This one looks so happy. And if you need more evidence that there is a little possum. Though this could be the neighbour's cat. We do have little paw prints here. That has been left from last night because the gravels are wet from the rain recently. But little paw prints. These are all growing super happily. It's sunny because it's 5 o'clock, so the sun's coming in at the moment. But these are all my shop plants, so ones that I'm selling, and they all look pretty happy at the moment. This one is looking so stunning. Look at that one. So I have 2 more sachets, which is really not enough to do much, but I thought I might just chuck them amongst the shop plants in the hopes that maybe some predatory mites will skitter about. I haven't found any spider mites here, thankfully, because these all get showered quite regularly, so they tend not to get many pests. But I'm just going to chuck a sachet amongst this collection as well, and it'll help be like a little bit of a preventative. And this is the big fern downstairs now. Look how long it is. It's so stunning. And then all of the new growth, all of that is new, everything up there. Completely new growth, so it loves where it is now. And like, why wouldn't it? Look at the light. All right, so I think that is pretty much all I'm going to be able to do before the sun sets. All the bugs are now dispersed. The last thing that I'm probably going to do before I go shower is go around and spray the plant leaves with some water. None in particular, just a little spritz, plain water. I think it helps the bugs to sort of have some water around and about for them. So yeah, I'll probably do a little bit of a spritz of my plant leaves and leave it at that. If you have any questions about any of my plants that I didn't answer today, or about the predatory bugs, anything that I didn't really answer, feel free to ask in the comments below. I try and answer any of the questions that I get there. And if you did actually make it to this point in the video, can you please drop a cute little bug emoji in the comments? That is it for today. I will try and get up early tomorrow and start working on the chopping, repotting, moss pole extensions extravaganza, which will be in our next video. But until then, bye!